Then what did you do after you were discharged?
After my discharge, before I got discharged, or right after I got discharged, I went into Chicago to come home. Me and this Stanley Wade, Red Wade, or Babbitt, that's what we called him.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, I was either going to go home with him and then go someplace else, or else I was going to come home. But I can remember standing uptown by the bus depot with him, and Frank Sinatra. There was a great big sign there on the Chicago Theater. It was right there by the bus depot, and it said Frank Sinatra was playing there then. He was just a young man then at that time.
Oh, really?
But anyway, the railroads were on strike, so
how'd you get
come
home?
home on a train. So anyway, so Wade wanted me to go home with him for a while, and I didn't know. I kind of wanted to go home. I hadn't been home too long. I don't know why. But anyway, so we flipped the coin. Heads, I'd go with him. Tails, I'd come home, and it'd come up tails.
And you went home?
Yeah, but I had to hitchhike because the lineups for the buses was about 2 blocks long, and so there was no sense of trying to do that. So I just caught the L train and rode out as far as I could on the L train, got off it, and went to hitchhiking. And I remember I got a ride with a guy that ran a truck garden outside of Chicago, and he had an old pickup, and I took a ride with him and rode as far as, I think, I don't know, probably about 35, 40 miles outside of Chicago. Then I hitchhiked again, and the guy gave me a ride into Rockford, Illinois. And then he let me out on the opposite side of town. I had to walk through that damn town.
I see.
And anyway, then on the other side, there was some man, a boy and girl, they just got married, and he was in the Navy, and they were heading for somewheres out west. And they had an old Plymouth coupe, I can remember that. And so they gave me a ride clear to Dubuque. But their car, the clutch was so bad in it, that we couldn't hardly make it up down the hills.
Oh.
So then when I got to Dubuque, I think I hitchhiked home from there.
Hold still, Ryan.
Got a ride with a guy clear from Dubuque, clear to home.
Set it on the table. There you go, you got it.
When you got home, what did you do? I mean, when were you married?
Oh no, that comes later.
Oh.
When I got home, I don't know, I didn't know what to do. Didn't have any money. I guess I was waiting I had $300 mustard and outpay coming, but
When did you find out that your brother died?
that was he got killed on June 1st, 1944. I was in camp up in Camp Endicott, Rhode Island.
I see.
I didn't have no money or anything to come home. So then but I wanted to come home. They called my name over loudspeaker. So anyway, I went up to the Red Cross and tried to borrow some money, and they told me they weren't in the lending business. So I asked for a request mass. That's what you have to do in the Navy to see the captain. So anyway, I think the next morning, later that night, I got notified that the captain would give me a request mass at 9 o'clock in the morning. So anyway, I got all that stuff the next morning, and you had about a mile to go to get down to the main base. And I went down there and went into the aide's room and his aide. And anyway, then he took me on into the captain's office. The captain asked me what side of the Mississippi I lived on. I asked him for 10 days leave to go home to my brother's memorial services. He asked me what side of the Mississippi I lived on. I told him the west side, and he gave me 2 extra days. And then I told him, I said, then there's something else I'd like to do. And he says, what's that? I said, I'd like to borrow $50 from you. And he said, why? I said, because I have no money to go home on. No money to buy the ticket.
Did you do it?
Yeah, he loaned me $50.
Did you pay it back?
You bet your life I paid it back. I think the bill for the round trip fare from Providence, Rhode Island to Mason City cost me $48, and I had $2 left.
Oh.
Anyway, when I come home, the government had notified my folks yet that Ray had been killed, but Warren had wrote home and told them that he had,
Mm-hmm.
And so we had the memorial services. That was the largest memorial services ever held in Mason City.
Really?
My brother. And all you had was a picture, see, not and flowers and that. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So then my dad, it come time for me to go back. I didn't have no money. I had my trip, But anyway, Dad didn't have any money either, And I think he went over to Clanton and borrowed some money from somebody who gave me $5 to eat on between Mason City, probably was Rhode Island. It took about 2.5 days to get there. And I made it last week. And I think I was there then. When I went back, I was there for about another 30 days, and then went by troop train to California.
What did you do after all the service? I mean, after...
Okay, after I got out of the service, well, I come back from getting discharged, so this Bobby Robinson, I'd known ever since I was a little kid all my life, worked at the sugar factory in the campaigns. He had a carnival. So anyway, I was like, go out on a carnival. My other brothers did for him, and I thought, I believe I'll try that, you know. So I went and asked Bobby Robinson, you know. Yeah, he said, you can go with us, you know. And I remember we were going down to, we played a couple of towns, and then got down to Perry, Iowa. And I met some of the guys that I was in the service with down there, too. I don't know, I was with that, and then I got homesick down there, and I probably was with him a week and a half, and I chucked it and come home. And then I went to work for the Northwestern cement plant out here.
I see. What other jobs did you have?
I worked at the sugar factory a long time, 12 years altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the house a couple times.
How long have you worked in the Lehigh to this day?
28.
28?
Going on 29 years now, just starting the 3rd day of this month.
Oh, really?